Oh boy.
Now, actually. All right. So, welcome everybody. I'm excited to share some time with Harry and explore what made Harry choose a new home here at EXP. New home, playing on the you know uh,
Very good.
play on words a little bit. Why he decided to join EXP, why he decided to join our organization specifically, and we're also going to talk a little bit about his, what is his primary or are his primary sources of business, and where he, the areas that he services. So, in case anyone has some referrals to send his way. For those of you who don't know me, Central PA is where I service. So Cumberland County, Dauphin County, Perry County, and Northern York County. And I have a growing network that we can service pretty much all of Central PA. So if you have a referral in any of those areas, certainly reach out. I actually had somebody text me blindly about an hour before we hopped on here with a referral, which is kind of cool. Harry, though, this is about Harry today. Harry has been in the industry for, I think you said either nearly 25 or just under 25 years.
Well, actually, I'm coming up on 26.
Well, so you can feel confident if you send someone Harry's way, he will take great care of him. He's got great experience,
Yep.
and Harry is someone who is he takes great care of his clients, puts his clients first, and is very pays close attention to details, right? And will do a great job in representing them in any form or another. Um, he is in. I'm gonna let him say specifically in a minute, but in Maryland, also services DC, and I believe Virginia.
Yep. Northern
Um,
Virginia.
right. So why don't we start there, Harry? Why don't you, now that I did a terrible introduction of you, on some level, why don't you introduce yourself? Let everybody know, like, specifically your primary service areas, and then kind of the larger ring of where you service as well.
Sure. So my name's Harry Moore, and I have been a real estate agent for about 26 years now. I live in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is
Yep.
the county just outside of Washington, D.C., north of Washington, D.C. I live in Kensington, which is a little town that's just about 10 miles from the White House. Um, I have my license in all three jurisdictions. If you know anything about the geography of DC, um, there's a lot of stuff going on that's very close to each other.
Sure.
Mostly, I work in Montgomery County, which is where I live, but I also service Washington, D.C., which is where I grew up, and Northern Virginia, the close in Northern Virginia suburbs, Arlington, Alexandria, and Fairfax County mostly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Perfect.
okay.
Perfect. So sources of business. Where would you say are your what is driving, and has anything changed for you in that regard over the last year or two? I guess as a follow up question as well.
Sure. So historically, my business has been largely repeat and referral business. And in the earlier parts of my career, there was a fair amount of agent to agent referral business in my old office because I was one of the few agents who had a Virginia license.
Oh,
And so a lot of agents in my office would refer me their Virginia business because they didn't go across the river.
sure.
Um, and I have tried a variety of different online lead generation um, methods over the years,
Yep.
with usually not great success. Um, but about a year and a half ago, I started doing YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel, Harry Moore Realtor. You can find me on
Go
YouTube.
go find Harry on YouTube and hook him up with a subscribe,
There
right?
you go.
Hook him up with
Well,
a
those
subscribe.
subscribes.
Yep.
I'm just about to 300. So,
Yeah. Right on. Right on.
and that's actually generated. It's done a couple of things. It's generated me some business. but it also helped me to sort of get comfortable in front of the camera and to understand the value of video and the fact that you can use it as a lead generation, but also to help assure people, to sort of give you credibility.
Yeah.
I'll tell a quick story. I had some clients, I had helped them buy and sell twice. And they had moved out of DC and held on to one of the properties as a rental. It was actually a property I hadn't even helped them buy. They had bought long before they knew me.
Sure.
They finally decided to sell it. And they called me up and they said, we'd like you to help us do that. It was great. So one of them was a very successful corporate person with McDonald's. Big deal with McDonald's, and a hardball negotiator. And she was not really interested in what I had to say about how to price a property. So I kind of backed off and I said, I'd like to send you a couple of links to some YouTube videos that I've done. And I'll watch them and then we'll talk again. And she watched them, and I called her back a couple days later and she was like, okay, we're good. So it was just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying the same things I had said to her over the telephone. But anyway.
But it was you on a screen, right?
Right.
Like it's a different, it creates a different, and I'll also give you props. One of my recommended ways of staying in touch and building top of mind brand awareness with your database is sending a weekly email, which you have adopted, and you've incorporated a video with that weekly email. And I will share an experience that I had yesterday that just further backs this point and gives more credence to why I believe in email or video so strongly. And a similar experience to you, I had a call with a seller that was in shock that she was actually talking to the Josh Schoenly. Now, this is a seller in a little town on just the other side of the mountain from where I live, and her reaction was like she was talking to a celebrity. I had to laugh,
right?
But like I didn't have to win that business. It was like I have an appointment to go take the listing Tuesday I think Tuesday afternoon. Like it was really that. That is because she had seen a great deal of video content from me on Facebook and YouTube. And so there is definitely something about that. The other thing I'll mention specifically within our organization, Harry is one of several people we have in our organization that are doing a wonderful job with YouTube and creating consistent content. And, I love, reason I love that kind of marketing is those are assets. Margarita, hello. Those are assets that work for you even when you're not working, right? They will continue. They're little robots out on the internet working for you even when you're not. So yeah, that's some great stuff there. I'll give him one more. Harry Moore Realtor. Go and give him a subscribe on YouTube. Help that subscriber count. I did check it earlier. I think you're at 299. So we'll know.
I'm so close.
Yeah.
Really close.
And Margarita asked who we use for video emailing. BombBomb is for the video emailing is what I use, and I think is what Harry is using.
Absolutely. Been using it for years. I use it for my newsletter, and I also am a big believer in, as you are, in personal emails. I send birthday greetings to past clients.
Yep.
And I find that it's very helpful when you're just, when you're back and forthing with, usually I do it with clients. If you're in the middle of a transaction and you want to relay something, because I agonize a lot over just the right words to use when you're typing an email, and you got to be really careful because, just one wrong word and you're sunk. Yep. But if you talk to them and you're straight with them, they get it.
100%. And so again, it's bomb.com, spelled like a bomb. BOMB.com. I use it I use it so much. And in fact, I use it. The example you gave, when you're trying to communicate something that could be interpreted differently, the same words, someone could receive a text message and interpret it two different ways, right? Someone could be
Absolutely.
offended, and another person, same words. But if you communicate it with your body language, and they can see what you're trying to communicate, it just conveys a different message. I use it. I'm very involved in different, I coach different sports and involved in community. I use it a lot unbusiness related, because again, it just makes it easier to communicate thoughts in a way that are more authentic, let's say,
Right.
and can't be, or less likely to be misinterpreted or misunderstood. So
Yep.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Anything else that maybe is a little unique or different that might be interesting on the source of business, or even just something that you're doing that would be a good reminder? It's not like, it's not wildly different or unique, but maybe a good reminder of best practice for those watching or listening. And I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, because I didn't prep you for that one.
Yeah, you didn't prep me for that one. Well, not that I can think of. I mean, first I'll correct you on one thing. Unfortunately I don't do my newsletter every week. It's every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Well, but you're doing it consistently,
I
so
am.
it's consistently.
Yeah.
Well, so here I'll answer. I've got an answer maybe for you. The video that you're doing in your newsletter, at least from the ones I've seen, you're typically walking. You're
Yeah.
out. You're out and about,
Mhm.
and so that's a great pattern interrupt for people.
Right.
They see Harry out walking around, right? So
Mhm.
it's not him sitting in his office like he or I are right now. And because of that, I would say it's more likely to be viewed. Like, people are more likely to be curious and wonder, even if it's just subconsciously, like, I wonder where he's walking around today. So I think that's something cool and unique that you're doing, paired with your email newsletter, that maybe people might consider modeling, whether it's with a newsletter or not. That type of walk and talk video content does work really well.
Well, I forget where I got that idea from, but the first time I tried it on my newsletter, I got a whole bunch of people who reached out to me and were like, love that.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Pretty cool. Pretty
So I
cool.
continue.
Positive reinforcement. Positive
Absolutely.
reinforcement.
Yep.
So let's pivot a little bit.
Uh-huh.
What was it that made you curious about EXP?
Okay. So I had been thinking about making a change from my old brokerage for a while. And then COVID came along. And for years, I was a huge believer in going into the office every day. But clearly that wasn't happening
Right.
with COVID.
Right. Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'm going to explore what my options are.
Yeah.
And I talked to, I wouldn't call them the usual suspects, but a number of the more conventional brokers in the area.
Sure.
And then I guess I'm going to say it was probably that I stumbled on somebody talking about EXP on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Because where else do you learn about things?
Right. I mean, yeah, that's where I get all my information now, pretty much.
Right. And so I did a little digging around about EXP, and then I found this whole concept of these sort of groups within EXP who help agents do things. They provide services. And I found you. Well, I had known you for a long time.
Sure.
Maybe not, directly. We've never met face to face, but
right.
But I know the famous Josh .schoenly.
Yeah, well, no, infamous.
Well, or infamous, whatever.
Yeah.
I followed you for a long time, and I talked to a couple of other groups, and then I talked to you, and it just felt, one of the people who I talked to, he was very standoffish, totally different from his persona on video. And the other guy, I just, didn't get the same kind of feeling that I did when I
Sure.
talked to you. So
Yeah.
I came to a huddle, and it really felt good to me. The huddle, I think, is a great thing. You do a terrific job with that, giving a little inspiration there first thing, and then helping people out,
Yeah. Sure.
because we all struggled with stuff.
Yeah.
And so the huddle felt really good to me. It's felt like a Tuesday morning meet, like the old Tuesday morning meetings, but I
Yeah.
didn't have to drive anywhere, and I
Yeah.
could, I could be in my I could be in my PJs.
Yeah.
At the meeting.
Yeah.
and
So
and
go
then
ahead. Yeah.
then after I think I came to a couple of huddles, and then you and I scheduled a call with Bob,
Hmm.
and we talked some more about sort of the bigger picture of the organization overall,
Yep.
and what the big group provides, and it just made sense to me. And the huddle got me over the fear of not having an office to go into, because
Yeah.
I also realized, even when all this stuff is over, the office is not going to be the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Sure.
um, and that got me sort of, conquered my fear of
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And then I looked at all these great programs that the big group has to offer, and the within the whole business model of EXP.
Yeah.
And it just made a lot of sense to me. It really seemed like, I mean, Glenn, what a guy, huh?
Yeah.
To have come
Yes.
up with this idea of a virtual real estate company. Was it 12, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, whatever it was? Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Boy, impressive.
Yeah. We are very blessed to have an incredible visionary
Yeah.
for a founder, no question, and a guy who's genuinely a really great person, just a
Yeah.
really good person that the impetus, what caused him to create this company was putting the agent first, and
Right.
wanting truly to help the individual agent win, because the way most models are structured, that's just not the way it works more often than not. There are several things I would just want to take a minute to unpack in there. Number one, I would say that this was a process, not an event for Harry. We had multiple conversations.
Yeah.
He came in and experienced our organization multiple times and in different ways. When he mentioned Bob is my business partner. So having conversations with other people in the organization, it's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Because ideally, it's a move that you make once, right? And so you want to make sure that it's the right one, and you want to make sure that when you make the move, it's permanent. That's what we would like. And I'm sure, if you're thinking about it or considering, that's probably what you would like as well. Last two things that I'll mention that he highlighted in there. If you are, he mentioned that we do a daily huddle. So in my organization, every Monday through Thursday, we get together on Zoom, and we huddle up, and we do some little mindset and motivation, and we brainstorm, we mastermind, we help and support, and we encourage one another. And if that's something that you would be interested in checking out, just reach out to Harry or I, and we can get you a link to come. And you're welcome to come to one, or you can come to as many as you'd like, to get an idea of what that feels like. And if you're someone who is EXP curious, you can reach out to us, and we'd be happy to have a conversation, and know that it's just that, it's a conversation. Neither Harry or I, neither one of us are hard selling type of people. We'll have a conversation. We'll do our best to give you all the information so that you can make an informed decision for you and for your business, and what you're looking to do. And sometimes it means being part of our organization, and sometimes it doesn't. But again, it's with us, it's never about trying to push you to make a decision. And what I would highlight there is, that's the way we treat our clients too, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to have those that push end up repelling. So we want to be the group that is pulling or drawing people to us, whether it is the consumer, the buyer or seller, in your market, or it's someone like yourself who maybe you're an agent and you're wondering about EXP and thinking about making a move, or at least finding out more about what that would look like. So,
Josh,
yeah,
I'll just take a second. And
yeah,
that
please do.
that is an analogy that I use with my clients all the time, and I have for years, is that if we're talking, it's because they probably are thinking about moving, right? And there's two ways I can help them move. I can stand behind their back and push them, or I can stand in front of them and pull them along. And I
Yeah.
think it's, to me, the difference is huge. It's all about doing something behind their back or doing it transparent and right up front.
I love that analogy, and I think that's a great place for us to wrap up. So if like I said, if you're curious, you'd like more information, reach out to Harry or I. We'd be happy to have a conversation. We're easy to find. You can send a private message on Facebook. You can go to Harry's YouTube channel.
That's right.
You can find his contact information there, or just Google us. We're easy to find, and we'd be happy to have a conversation with you, and see, if this would be a good place for you, if this would be a good organization for you to hitch your wagon to. Harry, thanks so much for spending some time on a Friday.
Pleasure.
And I mean this truly. So grateful and such a blessing to have you in our organization, and the value you bring to the whole group.
I am happy to be a part of the family.
Right on, right on. Well, everybody take care. Hopefully we'll chat soon, and ta-ta.